Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'd like to have a look at this model here. This is the Diatone GT M515 and it's just about to come out. There's been a couple of videos on YouTube on people that got kind of pre-production units, but this is actually a production one. Sounds like availability is initially going to be a little bit tight, so if you're interested in something like this, it's probably worthwhile getting your pre-orders in. Now this has a very similar central pod to a lot of the other Diatone models that are out there. Diatone tend to use really nice cameras, really good VTX flight controllers and other pieces too, but you'll probably notice that this one has blooming large props. So it kind of feels like it's a micro quad in the middle, but it has 5-inch props out on the outside, which makes it a little bit of an unusual animal. Is it a super lightweight 5-inch or is it an endurance mini quad? I'm still not quite sure. So in this video, what I'm going to do is very quickly run through the specifications. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in going and having a look, and then also talk about what it's like to unbox. There isn't a massive amount that comes in the box. It's pretty much ready to go with the exception of a couple of pieces. This is a PNP model, so you are going to have to install your own receiver. I've put a little XM Plus in the top here and initially put these two wacky antennas out the top. I'm tempted to reroute them and have them coming off the arms with cable ties like I tend to do in a lot of my other videos. Once we've done that, then let me take it out of the field and talk about what it's like to fly. So first of all, let's talk about the specs and start with this very compact stack in the middle. There isn't a lot of room in here. This cage is pretty much crammed with electronics, and that tends to be how the Diatone models are. So it's a Fury F405 Mini flight controller with a 4-in-1 ESC with a 20 amp by 4 burst current 25 amp specification. All 20mm mounting on M2 bolts. And nicely, they have put a couple of capacitors around here as well. There's 2 on the back of the model to make sure that the FPV video and the power delivery is very smooth. But it's when you start looking at the other pieces that you notice that some really nice touches. And this isn't unusual for this model from Diatone. They tend to use top quality parts in their models. So in addition to the flight controller and the ESC, I think that ESC is actually D-Shot 600 capable too. The camera in here is a Runcam Micro Sparrow 2, which is a very nice little camera. And it also has a TBS Unify video transmitter at the top. Now I like TBS stuff. It seems to be pretty bulletproof and it's lovely to see it on the top here. And it also appears to be wired up for smart audio too. The antenna is a Foxeer Lollipop. Now on the smaller quads that Diatone do that don't have these big arms, you tend to find that it's a little dipole, but this is a little integrated Foxeer Lollipop. And I've looked at those on the channel, I think they perform pretty well. And the motors are Sunny Sky 1806 2500 kV motors. Now the 1806, for those of you that have been in the hobby for more than a couple of years, you will be raising your eyebrows because 1806 is where we all started building 5-inch quadcopters before the 2205 motor revolution by people like Emax really kicked off. And we left 1806 motors in the past. But they are a brilliant idea for this kind of quad, because these motors in particular, they're open bell housing at the bottom, they're very lightweight, and they produce a great amount of thrust for a really lightweight quadcopter like this. So I've got loads of 1806 motors in my spares bin from back when we used to use them a lot, and looking at this is making me think about building a more endurance style quadcopter. And that is one of the things about this, and we'll talk about that when we get to the flying bit in a while. This is a very efficient quadcopter because it's an ultralight 5-inch quad, and spinning those 5-inch props means that you're going to get an awful lot of efficiency out of that motor and prop combo. And that's kind of seen by the little power input at the back. The cable is probably half the size of what you'd expect on a regular 5-inch quad. So let me talk a little bit about what it's like to unbox. The box itself feels very quality, a big white thing. It only has the Diatone logo on the side. As you open it up, there's a piece of foam on top which protects everything, and in there is the quadcopter without the props installed, and a couple of bags of bits as well. And with mine, I got two sets of props. I got the two-bladed, which I'm actually flying with. They'll give you better efficiency. And then you've got the three-bladed props, which will use more power, but give you a little bit more thrust. Inside that bag of bits, you have the optional buzzer that I would absolutely recommend that you install. There is just enough space for it behind the camera if you have the camera at anything but the lowest rake angle. There's also a spare connector that takes from the flight controller to the ESCs. There's a handful of the very small cable ties, a battery pad, a spare XT30 connector, and then you have a couple of spare screws and nuts and the prop nuts for the motors as well. All the motors are the same direction. There's not counterclockwise and clockwise versions, so all the nuts are identical. You will have to install a receiver. You're going to need a micro receiver because there isn't bags of room in this model. Again, I use an XM Plus. There's a little cable here that comes out of the side at the back, opposite from where the USB adapter connects. And in my case, I just clipped the end off and soldered that directly onto the XM Plus. The only other cable that appears to be flopping around is for that buzzer, and that's at the front. So if you just tease that out from where the flight controller connects to the ESCs and plug the buzzer into that, I just used a bit of double-sided foam and stuck it in place so it isn't going to be flopping around. Once you've got that done and bound, and be aware that to bind the model, the receiver isn't powered from the USB, so you are going to have to plug in a flight battery for that. So make sure that your props are off as you're looking and doing all the initial setup. Connecting to Betaflight, you can see that everything looks pretty standard. The only UARTs that are configured, there's a serial receiver turned on UART 1, and the only other thing that's set up is on UART 3, there is the TBS Smart Audio pieces set as well. Going through the Betaflight config, DShot 600, which you'd expect with these ESCs, 4K gyro and 2K PID loop frequencies, LED strips turned on, which is a bit weird, there's no LEDs on this thing. By default, it's set up for S-Bus on that input. You have air mode, on-screen display, anti-gravity and dynamic filter turned on, which is pretty standard stuff. Power and battery look like that. PID tuning looks like that. I'll talk about the PID tuning in a minute when we go out and fly. By default, there are no modes set up apart from an arming switch, so you definitely want to come in here. And if you want to have a more detailed explanation of how to set Betaflight up, I'll put a link here into my Bind and Fly Betaflight setup. It goes through all the different steps. The on-screen display isn't badly set up. I move things around to match how I like it. And double checking the version, it's the Fury F4 OSD or FY40 target, and it's running Betaflight version 3.3. The last comment I'll make is about the fact that there is some stuff in the data flash. If you look in the top right hand corner, you can see there's 14.7 meg of flash free. There is a little bit in there. Now that means that somebody at the Diatone factory, when they built this thing, actually armed the quadcopter. Now that makes me very happy. It means that there has been some quality control and I can be reasonably confident that this little fella's going to fly. So the next thing then is going to be taking it out to the field and seeing what it actually flies like. So here's some DVR footage from my Fat Shark HDOs just flying around in the local field and just getting a feel for what the quadcopter's actually like. Now the all-up weight for this quad in this configuration that I'm flying here is 239 grams, and that's with a 550 milliamp hour 4S LiPo battery. It's one of those little compact Earsheen numbers that Earsheen tend to send out with their really small quadcopters, and their fab little batteries. They're quite lightweight. So what this means is that what we're actually looking at here is a quadcopter with 5-inch props well under the 250 gram limit. Now that's pretty impressive. In terms of flight time, I'm getting about 5.5 minutes out of that 550 pack. If you look in the left hand corner at the bottom, you can see that this light little quadcopter is absolutely sipping the power, and that is due to those 1806 motors out on the arms and the two-bladed 5-inch props as well. The hover point for this quad is about just below about a quarter throttle, so on 4S it has ridiculous amounts of power. The camera's working very well, you don't expect it to, it's that Runcam, and all the components seem to work quite nicely. When it's sat on the bench, the VTX does get quite warm, but I found that as you're flying around, it tends to manage the heat really, really well. The only negative comment about the flying with this thing is the PIDs and the way it's set up with the rates and everything do feel really soft compared to some of the ready to fly or bind and fly or PNP machines that I've had in recently. The tune on this leaves a little bit to be desired. So I would probably say you're going to have to need to increase the P gains a little bit. I seemed okay, maybe increase D a smidgen as well too. But apart from that, it is a beautiful flying machine. So in summary, what do I think? Well, I'm pretty impressed. This is the first Diatone model that I've personally had in my hands, and the build quality and the way it's put together is fantastic. The way that they have thought about and selected the individual components shows a lot of thought too. That TBS VTX works really well. It will go up to a whacking 800 milliwatts, although I found flying around at legal limits with a decent patch antenna on my goggles was giving me pretty good range. The ESCs works really well. That Runcam camera, as you saw, coped beautifully with the bright sky, and even when I was flying towards the sunshine, it wasn't overexposing. But the real revelation here is that these 1806 motors that we all thought were dead might not be. This might be the perfect application for these little lightweight compact 1806 motors on quads like this. Now it is tougher than it looks. It's had a couple of bounces. It is one piece carbon fiber. The carbon fiber itself, and I think this is different from some of the early versions that in some of the YouTube videos, this production unit has one piece carbon frame, and the way the carbon is finished is beautiful. And it's thick enough so that it takes any knocks and bounces really well. This thing's flipped and rolled all over the grass in the past week while I've been flying it, and has just shrugged off every single hiccup. The really impressive thing about this is that it is super efficient. Now I'm in the middle of getting all the pieces together to do another quad build that's going to be based around efficiency, swinging 7-inch props on the low kV motors that are now coming out for 6S batteries, but running it on 3 or 4S and seeing if I can get really long flight times. And this model has really excited me about that next project, because being able to get over 5.5 minutes out of a little 550 milliamp hour battery, you can fly this like a mini quad with the mini quad style batteries, and it's going to be very happy. The really interesting thing is I also then whacked on a 1300 milliamp hour 4S battery to see whether or not it could pretend to be a 5-inch classic quad as well. And the answer, amazingly, was yes. Now, the model weight went up to 354 grams. Hover point went up a notch, so it was about between 1/4 and 1/3 throttle, but it still was sipping the power. So I was getting well over 15 minutes out of a 1300 battery with this little quadcopter. Now that is very impressive, and that's something that no other quadcopter that I've looked at in the size range has been able to do. Just a couple of things to consider. Watch out for that fox ear antenna. It can flop around. Make sure it's nice and vertical. If it flops down, it can catch the props. You will need to add your own micro receiver, as I've already talked about. It's not a bind and fly, so you're going to have one of those in your spares bin. The Runcam Osd needs turning off. By default, mine was supplied with the Runcam pieces turned on. I don't want to see all that rubbish. That's the whole point of having the Betaflight on screen display. But unfortunately, there wasn't the little joystick that you need in the box to go in and turn all that off. So I had to pull the camera out, fish around and find one of those little joysticks in my spares bin, plug it in the back and turn off all those features. In my opinion, that should have been done from the factory if they're not going to ship you the little joystick to sort it out yourself. One of the cool things about that camera is there are lots of settings that you can goof around with, so not putting a joystick in just seems like a bit of a shame. There is a battery strap in the box. Now, I've been using that bright orange Runcam thing, which seems appropriate with the camera that's installed in this model. And there are some nice battery strap slots cut in it. But at this price, come on Diatone, for the extra couple of pence, stick in a battery strap. So if you are a fan of Diatone and you've been wondering about this, then hopefully that's answered a lot of the questions. I've been particularly impressed with how efficient this is, and it has really opened my eyes to the possibility of using 1806 motors on this class of quad. Whether you're looking at it as a grown-up mini quad or you're looking at it as a super lightweight efficient 5-inch quad, then this is definitely something that's worth a look. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.